We
Yeah.
don't know yet.
Well, now we're live. All right, everybody. Welcome. Hump Day Hangouts. Today is the 15th of February, 2017, and this is Hump Day Hangouts 119. We got almost the whole Brady Bunch crew here today, so I'll go as I see it. This is unfortunate. I think you guys all see a different thing, but for me over here is Bradley. So how's it going, Bradley?
You're like down like in the corner for me. Like down there.
Okay.
So I'm sure nobody else is seeing it that way, but I am. So anyways, I'm good. Hi.
Good deal. And Hernan, how you doing?
Hey guys, what's up? It's really, really good to be here. Yeah, I see Bradley down here, yourself over here, Marco. Hey Marco, what's up?
Well, we'll do. Hey, good. You got Marco. So Marco, how's it going, man?
What's up, man? Doing good. Really excited about all the stuff that's coming down the pipeline for Semantic Mastery. I don't want to get ahead of myself, but I'm just, man, I can't wait. I'm like, I look forward to Saturdays now to work, actually. So
Awesome.
that's where I'm at right now. My mindset is totally just shoving stuff down Google's throat.
Awesome. Well, I'm going to jump right into it. We got a lot of questions today, so I'm going to go over some quick announcements. Hopefully you guys have seen the email. We're going to have some really cool stuff coming out with Video Powerhouse. Hernan has recorded some great videos right now. We've got some additional training too. There's been some stuff done by Bradley. Like I said, Hernan's got some stuff coming out. I don't want to say too much because I want you to sign up and check it out. It's some really cool videos put together and just talking and showing how big video is right now and what it's going to look like into the future. And then as well, one of the videos, Hernan's showing you kind of the inside way to deal with some of this stuff. So I just sat down and watched that video today since I have access. So it was pretty cool. So I'll put that link up. So get in there, sign up. It's a free, video series we put together. And then Video Powerhouse is going to be launching shortly after. So by all means, you want to be involved in that. If you're even remotely interested, highly suggest you sign up. There's going to be some really cool stuff going on with that. And then Hernan, I think you've got a couple things you were going to mention, right?
Yeah, basically what we are trying to put together over the next couple of months is a service that we can provide either as students and people that are not entirely, based or they're not our students yet, but they want to get traffic. So basically, if any of you guys watching need some sort of traffic like PPC, they can be Facebook advertising in any way, shape, or form, like for lead gen, for info products, for physical products, whatever you have in mind, talk to us. And then we can also do YouTube advertising as well. That's going to be Bradley's turf. But basically what we're trying to do is to start offering services. So since we haven't actually launched that, there's a window of opportunity right now for you to join us to get traffic at a cost, or a really, really low budget, if you would, or a really low investment. Maybe give us a testimonial and those kind of things which come with the window of opportunity right now. We're going to be launching on the upcoming weeks. That's going to be a full-blown service from Semantic Mastery. So, just a heads up, if you're interested in getting traffic, PPC, Facebook, or YouTube traffic, YouTube PPC, just contact us, support@semanticmastery.com, and we'll do something special for you.
Yeah, I mean, in other words, guys, we're kind of like looking for some beta testers while we get this agency up off the ground and running. And so there is an opportunity right now to get in for almost cost basically for us, so that we can kind of iron out some details and that kind of stuff. So if anybody's interested right now, we're going to start off with Facebook and YouTube traffic. We'll do some PPC, like Google search, pay-per-click stuff at a later date. That I've got to get some people trained though. And that's going to take some time, but YouTube and Facebook stuff, we can get set up fairly quickly. So just contact us via support.
Yeah, definitely. It's beta in the sense of you're going to help us definitely be ironing out some processes and get things down. But this is obviously by people who know how to do this. So it's not beta in that sense. So good thing to take advantage of, if you want to try it either for yourself or clients right now, that'd be pretty cool.
Mm-hmm.
All right.
Cool.
Yeah, I think that's it. You guys got anything else?
No, I'm good, man. I've got a lot of questions already. So I'm going to go ahead and
let's
grab
do this.
All righty. I'm going to take the whole screen.
All right, we got your whole screen.
Okay, cool. And first, I want to make sure that I recognize this photo before this meme before we scroll down because we might not get to it. I can +1 that way. So, all right, cool. Let's get on to it. We got a lot. Hi, all. Can you point me to the place that shows all the networks that I could syndicate posts or pictures through RSS to them, like Blogger, Tumblr, 500px? And I have the training for the Academy, and there are no new networks to post my RSS post or pictures to for a while. Well, that's not true because you have to check the update videos. We are always adding new the update webinars. Check that. Check the update section of the training area because all the update webinars for the last, I'd say 5 months at least, we've been adding new properties every single time. Now, they're not necessarily IFTTT dependent, meaning that some of the properties that we add don't actually integrate with IFTTT, but that's not the point. The point is to create additional to have a presence on more properties online, in other words. And some of the properties that we've been adding on a monthly basis they act like live stream sites where they'll pull content in from RSS feeds, or you can connect via OAuth and it will pull in social feeds or whatever. So you just have to check the update webinars. That's what the update webinars are for. And we add new properties every single month. Okay. If I can point you to 5 that I have a WordPress plugin and post into them, I'm not sure what that means. If the ones that are covered inside like the core training, those are the core syndication properties that we've been using, for years. But the newer sites we've been adding are again, they're added in during the update webinars. And we've got an update webinar scheduled for today at 5 p.m. immediately following Hump Day Hangouts. And we've got another 3 properties that we're adding to the networks today. Okay. Okay, let's see. Besides Pro Rank Tracker and Neighbor HS. Okay, we're the best besides them. Okay, cool. Right. All right, Carson's up next. He says, hey, guys, awesome content, loving it. In regards to getting clients, it was mentioned in YouTube video about sending video email. Would love to touch more on specifics of that, sales process, follow-up, closing a client, etc. Can't wait for the webinar. Carson, I would recommend that you go sign up for, well, let me ask first. We'll go sign up for Video Powerhouse anyways, or Serp Space. Go create a free account at Serp Space. Adam, is the Vmail training, that's only for Video Powerhouse subscribers now, correct?
Correct. There's some older, shorter stuff, but the complete stuff is going to be offered to Video Powerhouse people. There may be some additional options down the road, but yeah, that's how it's going to roll for now.
So there's an old PDF that I created I had 2 female partners in a previous business, and they created the PDF. I created the process for video email. And there's a PDF that you can go download. It was created in like 2012, so it's several years old. The principles are still intact. I completely redid the training for video email though this week. For Video Powerhouse, which can be accessed if you're a Video Powerhouse subscriber. But if you want the old version of it, where again, the principles are the same, some stuff has changed, obviously, but the principles are still the same, then let me just double check, see if this is the correct link, but it should be bradleybenner.com/vmail. I think you can opt in and get the PDF there. Yeah, that's it. So just go to bradleybenner.com/vmail. and opt in, and you'll get the PDF version. And there might be some training videos. Again, they're at least 5 years old, but the principles are still the same. If you want the updated training, join Video Powerhouse, and you'll get it for free in there as part of your membership. Okay.
Well, not true, but it'll be much cheaper. But
the Vmail training?
Yeah, that's going to be kind of the side product because it doesn't really fall in line with exactly what's.
Okay.
But yeah, it's going to be a hell of a discount. Yeah, no worries. Like, I'm going to put a link up here. If you're really into it, you can buy it now, but you'll get a discount if you buy it if you buy it with Video Powerhouse. So Just putting that out there.
Yeah, and again, I just updated it earlier this week, so that's the new version of it, and it's much more in depth. Hi guys, thanks for the great answer last week. Awesome. This is from Ben. I have been wondering about Sape links ever since I watched the link building video and the IFTTTSEO training. A few questions. Are they still viable links to use for YouTube? Yes, Ben, absolutely. Absolutely they are. Where's the best place to get them? Well, the best place to get them is to do it yourself, is to go join the Sape network yourself. It's a pain in the ass. I didn't like doing it. I did it by myself a few times, but it was just time consuming. I know Hernan got really good at that, so he was able to sniff out really good backlinks very quickly. in Sape because he played in it a lot more than I did. I just didn't like it. So I would always go to a bulk Sape link provider and just purchase them in bulk. I was spending a lot of money on Sape links for quite some time. Not so much anymore, but yeah, I mean, you can go to the sape.ru network and do it yourself. There's there used to be a product that was like a kind of a desktop software that would run, and it made it a lot easier. It was called Saper. I think it was called Saper.
SaperX or Saper. Yeah, something like that.
Something like that. Saper or SaperX. That made it a lot easier. Still a bit weird. One of the easiest ways is the way that I preferred before I started buying them in bulk was just to go to a Black Hat forum and find a provider. But Hernan, if you want to mention the best, you always had really good providers for that too.
Yeah. Basically, there's, you can go to the source, and sape.ru is not the only network out there, just so you know, guys. There's a bunch of others, but sape.ru is the biggest one. Basically, what you're buying is, placement of links that can be either hacked or real links. There's a bunch of actual people offering their links that are not all hacked. So, but sape.ru is just one of them. And you can go directly to the source, or you can have a vendor like Bradley was saying, like SEOlutions, for example, or Danny Jal, which is a guy that will get you really, really good domains. I really like sape.ru because within the mastermind, we have a process. I laid out the entire process that I use, which can take, I don't know, maybe 10 minutes initially. And then it gets so much easier. And it includes ScrapeBox and Majestic, ScrapeBox and Majestic to kind of sift through them. But once you have them, you can get, I don't know, 40 trust flow or something crazy like that for, a couple of or cents for monthly cents, dollar cents or whatever. So that's the way I do it. But if you want to again go through a source or a dealer, if you would, I can put some links on the event too, so that you can check them out. It will be more expensive though. It can really add up if you're doing a lot of Sape links. If you're doing it on your own, it doesn't add up that quickly. But if you use vendors, it can add up because you end up paying maybe 10, 15, 20 bucks a month per link. And if you're doing it on your own, you can pay $1 or maybe 50 cents of dollar per links because it all works on well, I don't remember the currency of Russia right now, but that's rubles.
Yeah. And right now, especially if you're in the US, the rubles compared to the dollar, the currency exchange is so huge. Like there's such a big difference that you can buy a lot of rubles with a dollar, in other words. So, I just want to point out that, when I was buying, before I started buying them in bulk, just for efficiency purposes, when I was buying them myself, like I would get Trustfo, 50 plus sometimes links for $2 per month. Which was huge, especially for YouTube stuff. I mean, huge for YouTube stuff. The next part of this is I assume the best use of them would be very last resort. After the videos and channel have been optimized every which way, you would finally point a Sape link in a video just for raw ranking power. Is that the case? And yes, that's usually the case. Like I would do everything that we teach. I would syndicate a video, live stream it, whatever, but it would go out across my networks. And then, I'd set up a crowd search campaign and do all the stuff that I already have first. And if I wasn't able to rank it, if it was one of those stubborn videos that was like, dancing at the bottom of page 1, top of page 2, that kind of stuff, or just stuck on page 2, period, that's when I would go out and find a Sape link. And for YouTube, it didn't matter. At least it didn't. I haven't done it in about a year, but it didn't matter so much really what the niche of the link was. It was just the raw ranking power of the link that would push it over the edge. If you can niche it down or get topical relevancy out of the link as well, or at least somewhat ballpark, same neighborhood, if that makes sense, then I would certainly do that. But all I'm saying is just a raw, like hardcore high metrics link, not something that I would want to point at a money site, but at a YouTube video, yeah, it'll work. Okay. And you can point it directly to the video. I recommend that you're using YouTube silos, using playlists, in other words, because if you point it at a properly interlinked video within a silo, then it can actually power up the whole silo. One link can do that. One really good link can do that if your internal linking within the silo is done correctly. And we teach how to do that inside of YouTube Silo Academy. All right. Next, would you point a Sape link at an individual video itself or at one of the tiered properties linking to the video or something else? You can point it directly to the video. But, if you want to add some diversity, you can also point to like one of your Web 2s where it's embedded. That will also help. Okay. Can you use Sape links? Just by the way, Ben, you can test with these. If you're going to get into buying Sape links, what I recommend you do is test different injection points, right? Or test different points that or places that you point the link to, right? Directly to the video, maybe to an embed property, maybe to the playlist URL. Try it with different things so that you can figure out what seems to be working best, because it changes. I did a lot of Sape stuff about a year ago. It's been a year since I've done it, so I don't know, what's the best strategy right now. I'm assuming that not much has changed when it comes to YouTube, though. So again, I would recommend that you just test some of that stuff. But that's a great strategy, guys. If you need some just raw ranking power for YouTube, Sape links are a good place to get them for an inexpensive price. Can you use Sape links with the branded network in any way, or are they only for videos? Well, you can. You can point them to like IFTTT network properties. I don't recommend doing it, though. I recommend going through, like if you were going to be doing that you'd be pointing them out at tier 2 instead of tier 1. Right? Yeah. You guys have any comment on that?
I would use, if anything, Ben, you can use detachable link juice. That's something that I use, because once you place the order, it's hard to change the link. So just point it to a 301 and maybe, do some switchbox SEO. Sape are great for switchbox. And this also applies for videos too, So if you have a video that's ranking well, you can 301 the Sape juice to another video that's not ranking that well. But anyways, I've seen that Sape as a means of maybe powering up a tier 1 link as a tier 2, powering up an internal page for tier 1 works really well. Like, for example, if you make a post about a page that you want to rank, and then you syndicate it out, and then you pick the WordPress.com URL for that post, and then you point a Sape link to that WordPress page, that usually makes a lot of damage. Usually with tweets too. If you tweet a post, and then you point to Sape link, you can go crazy with this. But the main point, I think, it should be some kind of the switch. You need to start using Switchbox for Sape, because it's super important.
Yeah, and all that means is just use one of your own domains that you can set up 301 redirects. You can just use a plugin inside a WordPress site to do that. And then point all your Sape links to 301 redirect URLs that then point to wherever you're ultimately going to point that link at. In other words, you want to set up a redirect first, and then when you order the Sape link, have it point to the redirect. That way, if something happens, like some sort of negative effect or anything like that, you can just remove the redirect, and it will free up your your final property, the destination property, from potential damage from that link. And remember that, guys, with the Sape links, there's always potential harm, right? There always is. I know that, I don't know, it could be coincidence, but I suspect that there was it was Sape related, but I've, had several sites hacked that had Sape links pointed at them. So I don't know if that's an invitation for hacking or what, but just be aware of that. That's why I don't typically point directly to money sites. I'll do Sape stuff to, like YouTube, for example, or to buffer sites, and then typically out at tier 2 or beyond, so that I don't, harm any of my branded properties. If that makes sense.
Point a Sape link at a drive stack and watch what happens.
Yep, you can do that too. Chris is up. Hello, I signed up for IFTTT so I can understand the process and workings, but then I got lost in the labyrinth of different programs and services within the semantic mastery arsenal. I have no desire to perform any of the fulfillment, i.e. building my own networks, and I am very keen on using the done-for-you services. I want to start by having my own lead gen sites for my chosen niches. Which of the done-for-you services are most appropriate for link building, content syndication, and link generation? Actually, I think I may have found it. Is this it? I want to build your networks for you. Yeah, that's correct, Chris. You can go to serpspace.com as well. That's our marketplace now. So serpspace.com, you can go there and order networks there. You can order drive stacks. We have a separate URL for that, right? You might want to drop that on the page, somebody, and tag Chris on it.
Yep.
For the drive stacks.
Yes, I'll do that.
And then we, I don't think we do yet. I think we're going to wait until after the video Powerhouse launch, but you guys correct me if I'm wrong. We don't have the affiliate and done for you sites yet, do we?
No, not yet. Not yet.
Okay.
Initially, I think that we will do the same. That we will do it externally initially, because the guys at Serp Space are,
Bogged
fully
down
committed to. They're fully committed to get Video Powerhouse as awesome as it can be. So I think that we'll manage it like that initially. But we will have another service that we want to do is to set up complete done for you affiliate and
local sites.
Yeah, local sites, Legion sites, completely done for you with IFTTT attached to them, drive stacks if you want them, powered up, the whole shebang.
Yeah, we're really working, guys, to get these done for you services done, because just like what Chris just said, we get this kind of crap and excuse me, I say crap. We get these kind of comments in support all the time saying, "Man, your training's great, but it's a lot of work. I don't want to do it. Where can I get you guys to do it for me? How can I get you guys to do it for me?" We get that a lot. And so because of that, we're going to we will be launching that service soon, where it'll be complete done for you site builds, affiliate sites, lead gen sites with IFTTT networks, like the whole 9 yards, drive stacks, link building, all citations, all that stuff can be done. So we're working on that. Jay's up next. Hi guys, I may have found my first SEO client. I will +1 that. I put a proposal together for SEO with content marketing. He has a website on WordPress. I purchased Content Kingpin. I'm thinking build an IFTTT ring for the website. Use Content Kingpin to curate 2 posts per week. Client to provide 1 additional original post per week. That's great. That's great, Jay. Confused with Serp Space and ordering the most powerful network setup for a website. Should I just order 1 IFTTT network and power with backlink package to first tier, or multiple tier network? Jay, for blog syndication, I recommend just starting off with 1 tier 1 network to start with. Okay. And then start populating the network with new content, publishing to your blog, which you've already sound like you got a good plan for that. And then, power up that tier 1 network with links. Absolutely. That's just standard operating procedure for me. But then give it a little bit of time, work on just producing good content and making sure that the content is getting syndicated properly and that kind of stuff for a few weeks at 2 or 3 posts per week. Within 4 to 6 weeks, you should have a pretty good foundation built. And then you can always go into like having some more advanced stuff like multi-tiered networks and things like that, which I don't recommend that right out of the gate, though, especially since this is your first client. Keep it simple for now. You can add some complexity to it at a later date if you desire, but you might be able to get the results just using a tier 1 network that's been powered up with proper content marketing anyways. And it sounds like, guys, one of the biggest factors on the results that you're going to get from the networks is frequency of publishing and the number of times that you post to your blog, frequency and consistency, right? That's really, really important. And so that's why I recommend that, go start off with just a tier 1 branded network, obviously powered up with links. That's going to help everything. But then just focus on creating content and publishing regularly, consistently. Okay, because then after a few weeks, like you got to allow time. You got to be patient, and I know that's tough in our industry, especially. It's tough to be patient. You got to be, because it will start to build its own authority and keyword relevancy, like the theming, right? The topical relevancy will become more and more apparent to Google, and it will make it a more authoritative property. Google will start giving the site more weight. In other words, okay. So that's what I recommend, is just doing what you're doing, Jay. That's a great strategy. I would not worry about 2 tiered networks for now. Just stick with branded tier 1. Okay. From Serp Space, you can advice on the strongest setup for website. Yes, that's what I would recommend. Just order tier 1 and then send it over to the link building team, I think you can actually, you can add that as an add-on when you order the network. So that's what I would do, is just that way it's all done. Like, your network will go from the builders directly over to the link building team. The link building team will set up your campaign immediately, and you'll get it back in short order. Okay. Also, what other monthly link building methods can you advise I do? Medium competition keywords, medium competent, non-local. I don't know. Do you guys have any link building services that you use? I don't anymore. I don't subscribe.
We use our own. We use, the way I do it is the drive stack, and then hit that with link building. Because you can order a drive stack with link building, and Dedia knows exactly what to do, so that you get the power of the link building into the drive stack. But then the spiderweb silo takes care of pushing the link juice wherever you want it to flow, and then even places where you didn't think it would flow, it'll just go because you have a link in there. So that's another way that you can do the link building.
Yeah, I agree with Marco, Jay. What I would do, because I I would hire anything with semantic mastery right now. In fact, the marketplace, what stuff that we were using, that we were outsourcing, that's the main point of the marketplace. So we were outsourcing link building. So we decided to put it there, so more people can take advantage of that. So what you could do, Jay, is to have the drive stack or have the main IFTTT, the tier 1 network, powered up and wait for a little bit, let the dust settle. Then if you need more link juice, you should order another run of link building within Serp Space, At the moment, I don't think we have the monthly gig ready, but that would be a good add-on. Maybe we will need to talk to Dario, but that would be a good add-on. The thing is that you can purchase a monthly package of links, but
it's usually not necessary.
Yeah, that's the point. Just if you need it, Jay. I mean, if you're gonna, that's one of the reasons why I think we don't have one there, because we didn't have the need to go out there and purchase monthly links. So we would just blast with links and let it sit. And then if we need more power, and then if we need more power, we will do it again, and until that website ranked. And then if you notice it's dropping down, you can do it again. So do it on demand. That would be the idea.
Yeah, and again, that's the point of part of the reason that we don't have the monthly service is because, like what he just said, but most of the time it's because we order. I'll send my network over to the link building team. They build the links to it, and then it's just about publishing content, which I've already talked about, consistently. And then you give it some time, give it 4 to 6 weeks and check to see. By then you should start gaining some pretty damn good traction. But if you feel like you need an additional boost, then you order another network link building package then. So, but the idea is to continue publishing content on a regular basis, because that's really what's going to help, right? Okay, next, Lulian. Hey, Bradley and the entire SM team. I have a few questions, 2 for now, but I guess a few more will come till tomorrow. Okay, I saw you mentioning PowerSuggestPro multiple times in these Hangouts. I'm curious how it's better than the ScrapeBox's keyword scraper. I honestly know this is going to sound like SEO blasphemy, but I was never a ScrapeBox user. I purchased it. I just never learned how to use it. So it may be comparable. I just, I know ScrapeBox is like an SEO, or excuse me, a Swiss Army knife of SEO tools, but it's just one of the tools that I never learned how to use. I had no desire to. So I don't know. If somebody else has used this keyword scraper, can you comment on the difference between PowerSuggest?
It's been a long time. I just like it because PowerSuggestPro does what it does. It does it very well. It's very simple, and you don't have to think about it. I've used both. It's been a while since I've used ScrapeBox, but I've used ScrapeBox for a lot of different things, and I would still have both. It's just so awesome. Unless you have, with ScrapeBox, unless they've updated it to the point where a lot of times you had to load in things, either reading text files or keep a notepad handy with things to copy and paste in. And it's not that it takes that much time, but when you want to just do something real quick, PowerSuggestPro is it's easy. It's so easy.
Yeah, I think that's the main point, Julian. I think that's the main point. You can still use ScrapeBox. You will need proxies. You will need, maybe you're running it on a VPS, those kind of things add up. But if you're using it on a daily basis, go ahead. I mean, the thing with PowerSuggestPro is that, I use ScrapeBox. I used to use it a lot more, but I use it still because it's handy. Even if you're not spamming, it's handy. It's a handy tool to have. But if you use it on a daily basis, go ahead with it. I would like to compare though the results from one and the results for the other, but that's for another episode maybe.
Okay, next, not sure if you've seen the latest buzz around some of the Google updates beginning February 7th, February 8th. Wasn't one of them Possum? That's a recent update, right? Google Possum. Anyways, especially downranking sites that are mostly powered by PBNs, or at least devaluing those links, hence the ranking drops. I know you don't use the typical PBNs much, but any similar ranking drops to the IFTTT power sites. I haven't seen any. In fact, it's interesting, but I have one client in particular that we had focused for the last several years mainly on organic, because he covered organic SEO, because he covers a large area, a large region, a large geographical area. in the Northern Virginia area. Is a roofing company, and he's we had been focusing on organic mainly because we didn't have locations, obviously physical locations in all the cities that he covered in all the areas, right? However, within the last several months now, I've been focusing on really trying to get his maps listing, which he has one location, to rank for multiple cities. And I've been doing that with just the using the IFTTT networks, blogging with the content marketing, like we were just talking about with Jay here. And then also building a lot of additional citations. And it's interesting, but I that one site is actually surged within the last probably week or so into multiple maps, 3PAX positions in multiple cities, like locations that are kind of adjacent to the main city where he actually has a physical location. But this is the first time I've seen that in years with this client. No kidding. And so I'm hoping that. So my point in answering this is no, because I didn't use PBNs on this client site. At least I haven't for about 2 years, maybe 2.5 years. That was an older strategy that I used to use, but I've gotten away from that, and I don't really use PBNs at all anymore. Very, very rarely. I still do sometimes, but very rarely. And so no, I haven't seen anything. And interestingly, I have to go back and look at the data more to see if there's a direct correlation between these updates and the ranking increases that I've seen with that one particular site. But I haven't noticed any drops on any of the lead gen sites or client sites that I manage. And in fact, like I said, I've seen a few of them with some recent positive changes. So and maybe if it has something to do with the PBNs, I didn't dig into this update much because it's not something that has affected any of my own assets, because I got away from using PBNs about 2 years ago, maybe 2.5 now. So I don't really have much to say on that at the moment. But what about you guys? Have you seen anything different?
No, I haven't. No, I mean, he's talking one versus the other. PBNs, I told you guys about this December of 2015. If you didn't listen, sorry, you should have. As far as IFTTT and the way we power and the way that we protect and the way that we identify ourselves as a seed with a seed site within a set, the way that we hit it with RYS Academy to solidify the entity and to further clarify to Google, yes, we are a seed within a seed set, is what actually protects us and powers us up even further. Then we have data coming in behind that with contextuals on Web 2.0s and hitting that to just give Google the appearance that this is something that's real. It has a social presence. It has an address. It has a phone number. There's people behind it. They're publishing content, pictures, videos. They're doing everything that they're supposed to be doing. And it just protects us. We don't, guys, excuse the language, we don't give a shit about Google updates. Why? Because we're not doing anything that would negatively trigger the algorithm. Everything that we do targets the things that we're supposed to target, which is the distance graph, which is freshness, which is everything that Google wants. That's what we push. At tier 1, we do it one way. We do it the way that we're supposed to do it, according to the terms of service. And then at tier 2, all bets are off. We just shove everything down Google's throat. Again, but everything's protected. Whereas with a traditional PBN, you're out there, you're nowhere, you spammed the PBN to death to get it to where it had some juice. It's not linked to anything that could be considered trusted or authoritative, and therefore it can't pass on anything, any type of trust or authority to the destination, whatever that might be, whatever your online project is. That's what it needs now. It's based on trust and authority. If it's not trusted, if it's not authoritative, and if it's not connected to something that's trusted and authoritative, you're in trouble. We're teaching you guys, man. We've been telling you, well, what is it, about 1.5 years, almost, away from the post that I did. And we were talking about this even before I did the blog post. I did the blog post because we were talking so much about seed sites and seed sets and the way that the trust rank algorithm was going to come in and the distance graph. And so for you guys, I suggest go and read the distance graph, the death of the PBN, the post is called.
Yeah.
People should pay more attention to the stuff we have to say is what I would recommend. That's simple.
Awesome. Thanks, Marco. Paul's up. He says, hey guys, just wanted to share the update on my Attorney Near Me site. I've been doing video campaigns through MegaRay for the site, and after only 4 or 5 campaigns, 50 cities each, the site is now on page 4 of the first page for Attorney Near Me. Wow. That's incredible. I went into Search Console and it shows 357 backlinks from YouTube. Other than the branded social media network links, there are no other backlinks. I have done nothing else yet. No RYS, press releases, citations, or backlinks. I do plan on doing them, just haven't yet. This is not a fluke. I have other Near Me sites that are only weeks old, and I'm having the same results. I owe all of this success to Semantic Mastery and all of your training and tools. I cannot thank you guys enough. I +1'd it already. I'd do it again if it let me.
Great
By
stuff.
the way, Marco, you told me a while back that I was working too cheap. He says the same thing to me, Paul. I just raised my monthly consultant fee to $3,000 per month. I'm tired of dealing with the people who want shit for free and have no gratification for your hard work and success. That's the majority of client work, Paul. That's why it's better to have your own assets, right? Thanks, and keep up the great work, which you're building. You're all these Near Me sites are your own assets, and that's beautiful because you don't have to whole client relationship thing that you got to deal with. So
yeah, I think that Paul is onto something here, and this is the beginning of something that could be really, really good. Because once you start building your own assets, you stop depending on clients, as you were correctly saying, and that's the beginning of something greater, in my opinion. You know, it's like it's an amazing journey when you start putting up your own stuff and ranking your own stuff, and
it's liberating.
Yeah, it's liberating, and it's it's challenging, but it's liberating. So congratulations, Paul.
If I can add, Paul is awesome because all he does is get done for you services from us. Like he was in construction like forever until housing took a crapper. That went into the crapper, right? And it just left them like flat out nothing. And so he gets into SEO. He finds us. He starts using our done for you services. He uses, by the way, done for you RYS a lot. He orders IFTTT networks. He orders backlinking. So the other guy, I can't remember the name of the guy that wanted to know how to do it. You know, Paul is a great example of a guy who just said, okay, let me get all this stuff from you guys. I don't want to do it. I'll just go find clients, and you guys help me rank. And so this is just an awesome story.
Earl's up. He says, Google is rolling out an ad on top of the new of a now 4-pack in the Minneapolis area. It looks identical to the normal 3-pack listing except for a green ad label. My client would like to be advertising there, but I've not been able to find out how to do it on how to buy the ad. Can anyone add some light? You know, Earl, I would like a definitive answer on this as well. I can give you some experience, like I can share some experience that I've had with that without any direct way to purchase that ad. But for example, in Local Kingpin, the case study that I had set up, my ad ended up in first place position, right? For the other advertisers. And that's just because I focused on, well, I raised my bid first of all, but then I started focusing on raising my quality score, and I got to position 1 with my ad, and it stayed there. And once I got to position 1, and it was there for a few days, then what happened was the ad started to show in the maps pack, or excuse me, when you would click on the more results. So at the bottom of the maps 3-pack, you'd click on it, it would open up the expanded map page, right, in a new tab. And then my ad would be at the number 1 position at the top. So I wasn't able to get in the 3-pack because I know that's being rolled out in select areas first. But I'm assuming, because there was no option for me to pay to be listed in the maps, expanded maps page, right? There wasn't an option in AdWords for that. But because my ad was in position number 1, it was automatically placed there. And there was only one ad in the maps, expanded maps page, and it was my ad. So, and I'm assuming it's because I was number 1, top bidder and highest quality score, whatever, or a combination of those two, for those keywords that I was ranked for, or, that I had been put in position number 1 in the ad section for. So I'm assuming that it's probably just going to go to the highest bidder or the highest placement. So the ads that are in the highest placement doesn't necessarily mean it's the highest bidder, because if your quality score is higher, then somebody might have a lower quality score that's actually paying more, but they're in a subordinate position, right?
Right.
But that would be my guess. If somebody else has a definitive answer on how to get in to the Maps pack with Google AdWords, I would certainly like to know.
Right. You know that Earl just updated his question, and he's saying that he got in touch with Google, and they told him that he needed to set up a device that can phone only, that can only get phone calls, you know?
Oh,
And
so you mean a call only ad?
Yeah, a call only ad with a device that can only get, something like that.
That's easy to do. Well, that's all. So if it's a call only ad thing, or you, something else you could do would be to have an ad that use an ad extension, the call extension, because that way it will show. And I remember, call only ads, guys, will only show up on mobile devices or devices that you can make a phone call from. So typically it's going to be mobile devices. Like, you won't see a call only ad on the desktop, and you won't usually see a call only ad on the tablet either. But on a mobile device, a smartphone, you will. So what I recommend doing is setting up an actual regular ad, but use ad extensions and use the call extension, because then it adds that call option to the ad so that it shows on desktop as well as mobile devices. And if you can call from the device, then there's a tap to call button directly in the ad. Okay. So that's what I would recommend, but that's actually really cool, Earl. I'm going to test that, because I'm not seeing any ads in the actual 3-pack yet in my area, at least in the areas that I've got, funnel set up or AdWords campaign set up for, but I am seeing them in the expanded maps page. So I'll be anxious to kind of test on that when I start seeing it in my area. All right, Ben's up again. He says, a question about content curation. If I am creating content for a money site, do you go to the trouble of creating silos and create the content to be relevant to the silos, or just have a blog subdirectory and create the content to be generally relevant to the money net site? Well, I kind of do both. Typically what we'll do is and this is in the curation course, curation kingpin or content kingpin course, Ben. But my curators, they'll keep a like a Feedly, for example, a feed reader, or even just a spreadsheet with feeds that are niche related, right? And then they'll go in and but typically using an RSS feed reader, a feed reader is the best, because it makes it easy and you get to see all the posts that are new in like a magazine style or a list view or whatever. And so Feedly is usually what we use. That's what I teach how to use. And anyways, they'll just go in for the day when it's their day to publish a post. They'll go in and they'll just scan headlines, right? And they'll find something that pops out that catches their attention, and they'll note that or open it in another tab, and then they'll go through and look for supporting, other pieces of content that can help support the overall idea that they got from the other one. And so that's typically what they'll do, is just go through and they'll find something that catches their attention and then try to find additional content to support that. So when they publish it to the actual blog, if there's a silo, a category on the site already that it will support, then it will obviously be placed in that category, right? And the internal linking will be such that it's linking up to a page or another post within that same silo, so that it's going to benefit that silo. But if it's a topic that is just related, whether topically related or geographically related, then but there might not be an actual category or a silo on the site yet, doesn't mean they're going to go build one. It just means they're going to create a category and then place that post within that category. And if at a later date we find that there's enough traffic potential in that particular category that had just been added for the blog post purpose, then we can go back and set up a proper silo with a silo landing page for the category and all that kind of stuff. Okay, does that make sense? So it's a matter of just like doing, if content fits within a silo structure that's already present, then absolutely you want to add it to that silo. But if it doesn't, that's okay to just put it in a more general blog for that site, as long as it's relevant in some shape or fashion, right? Either topically or geographically. That makes sense. Okay. So I just told you how we use it. Second, which would you prefer for creating leads and sales? Honestly, the blogging itself, I don't ever really try to rank the blog posts. Occasionally they rank and they'll generate traffic, but the majority of the time I'm using the blog posts for ranking the pages on the site that are set up to generate leads. So I use the blog posts to target long tail keywords, right, to kind of reinforce an overall silo structure so that I can hopefully rank the short tail or the very broad versions of the keyword where the majority of the traffic is going to come from anyways, right? And so a lot of the times, as far as for creating leads and sales, I haven't tested one versus the other, because my point in generating leads and sales is to get the pages to rank, and I use the blog posts to do that. All right. Doesn't mean you can't optimize a post, guys, to rank. You certainly can. That's just not usually the strategy that I do. All right, heads up. Hey, guys, just wondering what Bradley found out from last week about the YouTube like recipe problem and errors I've been getting since the middle of January. Thanks. Ed, I've got the solution for you. I told you I was going to have it for you this week. I'm not going to reveal it here on Hump Day Hangouts. That's the IFTTT SEO Academy update webinar number 9, which starts in 15 minutes. And I've got you covered, buddy. So make sure you log in and watch the webinar in about 15 minutes, or just catch the replay. It will be inside the members area by Friday at the latest. Okay? I got you covered, though. They're all working beautifully. It took me a few minutes to figure it out, but I got it. So I'll share that with you in a few minutes. And everybody else in IFTTTSEO Academy. Dean's up. In a situation where one is using expired domains built to look like businesses, and some with IFTTT rings to point to money sites, does it matter about the effect of this on the DA? No, Dean. As I'm seeing a pattern in the Moz DA on expired domains is sometimes one, despite trust being 15 to 30 plus in Majestic, and even if Moz DA is 10 to 15, I've seen expired domains DA drop in as little as 1 to 2 months to single digits on a money sites DA went from 30 to 25 in the last Moz update using this tactic. Dean, we talked about this before. Stop worrying so much about metrics, especially domain authority. Honestly, just stop worrying about it, man. I don't care about any of those metrics at all anymore. I don't even look at them anymore. Honestly, I don't care. I still look at Majestic metrics, and it's more or less because old habits die hard. But it's not, they're just kind of like, it's kind of like just a curiosity thing for me. What are the metrics of this thing that I'm looking at? It doesn't really have any influence on what I'm going to do with it anymore.
Go ahead. I agree with you. I agree with you, Bradley, because the reality is that, and one of the reasons why we keep hammering, or we keep using trust flow and topical trust flow as a reference. We never, fully trust those metrics, but we use them as a metric, and we have really clear that those are third-party metrics. They're not related to Google at all. But one of the reasons why we use that is that it gets updated every day, sometimes in real time, So you check in the morning, you will have one trust flow. You check in the afternoon, you point some links and provided that Majestic crawl those links, you will get another result. The problem that I see with DA and every Moz metrics is that they have a database that they update publicly, like Google used to do with PageRank. Remember? Mm-hmm. So you would have a PageRank, a PageRank number 2, and maybe the next update, it will be a PageRank number 4, and vice versa. So that's the problem that I find with DA, that is not updated. And, sometimes they will update once a month. Sometimes they will update it, once every 3 months, whatever. Sometimes they will push back. And, it's a picture. So you're taking a picture. Instead of recording a movie, you're taking a picture. And that picture at the other day, it's obsolete because you have lost backlinks, you have gained backlinks, you have lost a bunch of other things. That's why I don't pay that much attention to DA, number 1. And number 2, it's because simply with spam, you can really manipulate DA. We have done it with subdomains. We have done it with spam, thousands of backlinks. We have done it, and you can easily manipulate DA. So with having those two things in mind, I don't think that domain authority, page authority, and the new spam score, or whatever that's called, I don't think that's trustworthy, just because the fact that it's not being updated fast enough. And number 2, we have manipulated really easily with spam. So,
yeah.
If I may, the problem is that only Moz knows its algorithm, only Ahref knows its algorithm, Majestic, what have you, and nobody knows Google's algorithm. So they're all just guessing. So it makes no difference. Absolutely no difference in what we're trying to do, because what we're trying to do is we're trying to target Google's algorithm. Now, from our tests, we know how to go into Google's algorithm and make it do basically whatever we want it to do. And so why would we take third-party metrics if we know that just by being consistent, for example, if just by staying themed and relevant and all of these other things, we know if we do that, we're going to trigger the right sections of the algorithm. Why would we bother with third-party metrics anymore? We know how it is that we want to influence the algorithm in a positive way.
That's right. That's right. All right, we got 5 minutes, and I want to get through the 4 that I can see right here, and I'm not going to scroll up anymore. So let's go through like a speed round very quickly. Michael's question is, please, can someone shed some light on scraping product prices from the HTML on an e-commerce site for a feed to update prices on Google Shopping ads as and when they change? The site has about 7,000 products. Currently, company charges for this service, but we want to do it ourselves. Many thanks, SM team. What I would suggest, Michael, I'll let the other guys comment, but guys, please keep your comments quick because we're going to try to get through these other ones as well. But what I would suggest is hiring somebody from Upwork to code out a simple program that would do that for you so that you don't have to keep paying for it. You pay it once to get it coded, and I'm sure that could be done very quickly and for inexpensive. And then you could run that script over and over again whenever you needed to. It could probably even be done somehow within Google Sheets or something like that. But I'll let Marco comment on that since that's more your wheelhouse. Marco.
I'm sorry. I was muted.
Okay.
Oh wow. I'm not sure. I'm
sure
just looking at it.
Something could be coded that could scrape, parse data from an HTML.
Yeah. I mean, of course, but I would have to talk. You know what I do. I talk to Caesar.
Yep.
Can we do this? And then Caesar says, yeah, we could do it this way, and then we go and do it. And so, yeah, of course.
Yeah, Wayne just recommended iMacro. Yeah, there's a bunch of programs. If it's really simple, you could do it in a spreadsheet. If it's more, you could get someone to code this up in like a day.
Yeah. And that's what I would do. I would poke around on Upwork and find somebody, post a job, ask a few people to, take a look at your job and quote you a price. You could probably find something very, very cheap that could be a script that could run, or a quick, a simple app or something that could run for you, and you wouldn't have to pay on a monthly basis for that.
For an iMacro, he could even go into Fiverr.
Yeah, possibly, yeah. And I got an iMacro guy on Upwork that's fabulous. If you want his information, Michael, just let me know, and I can get you his name. His name is Marin Begic, Begic, Marin, Marin Begic. He's an awesome iMacro guy. All right, thank you for the info being taught on IFTTTSEO V2. I believe it was one of my best decisions, +1. I'm also in the midst of deciding to get RYS Academy as well. My question is, how do I rank my client in the 3-pack? Well, that's a very broad question. We can't really answer it in 3 minutes, but this very webinar, we talked a lot about how to do it. Set up the site, set up the IFTTT network, which it looks like you're going to be doing anyways, and then start populating the blog with content, which will syndicate, and use that as starting point. Build citations, RYS drive stack. If you're going to buy the course, you can build it yourself. Very time consuming. You can also hire us to build it for you while you're going through the course, and that would actually give you a completed drive stack to look at. Once you were done with the course, it would, in my opinion, that's the way to go, because then you actually get to see one done correctly that you can dissect and take apart, whatever, as you're building your own. That's what I would recommend.
He can also teach his own VA how to do it from that drive stack.
From the training, that's correct.
Yep.
Toby says, can you rank and rent a Google site? My site's been sent to Siberia, and the Google site is now on the first page with one article. That's the power of Google's narcissism, Toby. Absolutely, you can rank and rent a Google site. Now, remember, absolutely, you can. You don't own the Google site. Google's letting you use it, but you can control it. And the thing, I wouldn't sell a Google site to a client, but I would rank it as my own digital asset and then rent it out. Definitely do that. And this is the last thing. We got to wrap it up, guys. Greg Drebert says, what are the most common things to check for when you get the error message blog URL is not a valid WordPress URL? When adding to an RSS applet on IFTTT, most likely check the blog title first to make sure that there is a title in the blog. Go to Settings, General, and make sure that there is a title for the blog. So inside of WordPress, go to Settings, General, and make sure there's a title. That's number 1. Number 2, check to make sure that there is content in the blog. If the feed is empty, it will say not a valid feed. So you have to have one published post, even if it's the Hello World post, doesn't matter. It has to have one published post in the feed. Number 3, check plugin compatibility issues. If you're using like a bot blocker plugin like Spider Spanker or something like that, sometimes they will block IFTTT from accessing the RSS feed. So you need to disable plugins. If you've tried the other two things I mentioned, disable all plugins and check the feed again. If it's valid at that point, then start enabling one plugin at a time and checking it after you've enabled each plugin. And eventually you'll be able to identify which plugin is causing the error message or the incompatibility issue. Okay. Lastly, if you can't get your RSS feed, if all other things have been checked and they're correct, then go burn a feed burner feed from your RSS feed and then use the feed burner feed in IFTTT and it will work. All right. I always do that as a last resort. Okay, guys, wrapping it up. IFTTTSEO webinar update. Webinar number 9 is next. By the way, I just very, very quickly, Adam mentioned the backlink indexing thing. In the IFTTT update webinar, we have a method now, since backlink commando is no longer working, to automate pulling your post URLs from your Web 2 feeds and then submitting that. I mean, we have a way to automate extracting the URLs now. Let's put it that way. That's going to be covered in the update webinar here in about 4 minutes. So we'll see you all over there. Thanks, guys.
Everybody.
Later.